This company is actually tracking you while you are driving. They track where you drive, how you drive, how fast you drive. Basically, they track everything you do while you are inside the car, if you use your phone, stuff like this. So, Teslander has fully charged this morning. Stopped at 5:40. Yeah, 5:40. And now it is 6:40. Okay, 6:42 actually. And the preconditioning is not turning on. And I think this is again because the car is asleep. Because as soon as I wake up the car now, there it wakes. The charger turns on, even the car is fully charged. And you can hear the fan. Air condition compressor turning on. I can feel warm air coming out. So it's using the electricity from the grid to precondition the car now, heating or cooling, whatever is necessary, until you cannot unplug the car. Unlock charge port. There you go. Yeah, as soon as you unplug the cable, precondition stops. Compressor stops, heating stops. It is actually heating. 25.5 and we've got 24 outside only. So turn off the compressor and set this one to low. This is to prevent the heating from kicking in, because there's no other control to turn off the heating element. I just want to get some fresh air, but I don't need the aircon this morning, and I certainly don't need any heating. So set this one to low and set your fan speed to 2 or 3 or something, and you get just the outside temperature filtered into your cabin. There we go. Yeah, well, the car has just charged fine last night. I plugged it in at 4:30 when I came home, and there was still power there, so the car could actually do its testing, determine what kind of power source is available, and calculate the start time, which was at 1 a.m. or something in the night. Even the power dropped afterwards at 5 o'clock until 9 o'clock. The charging started at 1 a.m. as calculated before. Once it has done the calculation correctly and the power fails afterwards, it's fine. Unless the power is not there at 1 a.m. at the calculated time, because then it won't start later. So if power comes back at 2 o'clock, say, it won't start anymore. It doesn't start. If it misses the initial start, if it misses the initial start time, it won't start charging afterwards anymore, unless you wake it up manually, then it starts. It is just, you know, the car should wake up whenever the power comes back after a power loss and do a recalculation, a reassessment of the situation, of the charging situation. It's just a software thing again. It's not a big deal, because usually you don't lose power during the night. But if it happens, it may be annoying because the car is not charged in the morning. So today I want to talk about Tesla insurance, but not the insurance from Tesla, insurance in general. Look, when I made the decision to look for the Model 3, I did some research on the insurance as well, looked on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media, forums, everything. And I was horrified what people are paying for the insurance. $2,500 a year for a Model 3. Sometimes it was a performance one, sometimes it was just a standard range. But it was far, far, far too expensive, I thought. Just to put this in perspective, for the Outlander PHEV, I paid about $475 a year, fully covered with about $700, yeah, $650 or $700 excess. So in case of an accident, if you don't know that, you have to pay these $650 out of your pocket, and everything above will be covered by the insurance. That's what insurance doing, because they want to prevent coming in all these little claims. There's a little scratch, there's a little dent, whatever. People are claiming all these little bits and pieces then. So anyway, I did some research and I found the cheapest one for $1,200 for the Model 3. I said, okay, this is 3 times more expensive than the Outlander PHEV. But I couldn't find anything cheaper. I made phone calls, I made online inquiries, I checked basically all the insurance, and people recommended different insurances here in Australia, and I checked them all, and they were more expensive for me. Some of them were cheaper for me than for other people. It is depending on your situation, how much you travel, where your car is parked, where you live, and all this kind of stuff, you know. So I ended up picking the cheapest insurance I could find, which was Suncorp insurance here in Australia. $1,210 a year, including full class insurance, $700. Yeah, and the more expensive ones people had, they were only that cheap that they chose to have excess payments of about $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 sometimes. So you have to pay $2,000 out of your pocket, and everything above will be covered by the insurance, which obviously lowers your premium, but your out of the pocket expense in case of an accident of claim is quite high. And I said, yeah, I don't like this at all. So I lowered my premium to about $700. That was comparable with the PHEV. This car turning? Yes. And yeah, I found the Suncorp insurance here in Australia, $1,210, $700 excess fees, fully class cover, and some other stuff in there. So that was the cheapest I could find. I said, okay, that's the cheapest. There's no other way. You have to do this one. Everything else is more expensive. So I did. After a month or so, I found another insurance. I found this on the Queensland, on the Tesla Model 3, no, the Tesla, what is it called? The Tesla owner WhatsApp group, and they were discussing this Ubicar insurance. And I said, never heard of a Ubicar, never found this online, blah, blah, whatever. So I looked it up and said, oh, that's pretty good. But they're doing some weird stuff. This company is actually tracking you while you are driving. They track where you drive, how you drive, how fast you drive. Basically, they track everything you do while you are inside the car, if you use your phone, stuff like this. And they also charge you by a month-by-month basis. So depending on your driving style, you could end up paying more the next month because you're driving like an idiot. Or in my case, like driving like Miss Daisy will actually lower your premium, so you're paying less. And I thought, this is a weird thing, right? Never heard of this before, that the company actually needs all this data to come up with a premium. But I'll tell you more about this later. So that they basically put an app on your phone, which runs all the time. And this one, yeah, it monitors when you are traveling. So it monitors how fast you accelerate, how fast you brake, how strong your cornering is, your phone distraction if you use your phone while driving, your speed limits, and also where you drive. And it gives you a scoring about all these parameters at the end of your drive. Yeah, and then you pay more or less of your premium the next month. So if you are a good boy, you're paying less. And because this is on a month-by-month basis, there's no contract to get in, so you don't need to stay with them for a year or something, and it's just month by month. So I said, well, why not? And the premium was $39 a month, which is $480 a year in comparison to $1,200. So this was exactly the same price as I had for the Outlander PHEV, including full car class insurance, including $700 excess payment, and yeah, fully covered. They replaced the car on a total for up to 2 years for the same price then. So you get a new car price, whatever it's called. Oh, need to turn off autopilot. It's really fast down here. So yeah, I canceled the other insurance and signed up with Ubicar. Put the app on the phone, and I'm driving with this app for the last almost five months. And and they give you a quote before you sign up. They give you a quote, of course. So you put all your details in, where you live, what kind of car you have, how much you travel, and blah blah, how is the car parked overnight, and all this kind of stuff, you know, the usual stuff. And then they give you a quote. The quote is between a minimum and a maximum. Yeah, so they give you, I'm at work now. I've talked for 50 minutes again. They give you a quote, a minimum and a maximum, and depending on your driving style, you will be between these two figures. And my one was between $39 a month if you are driving very carefully and yeah, you look ahead and you don't speed, you know, all this kind of stuff. So $39 minimum and $45 maximum. 46 it was, yeah. So it was only $7 difference between being a good boy and being a bad boy. And I said, well, that's not much difference. Even if I drive like an idiot, I pay only $45, which would be $550 a year maximum, which is only slightly higher than for the PHEV, but far less than the $1,200 I paid with the insurance before. So I said, yeah, well, there's no risk. I can only save money, right? So signed up, put the app on there on the phone, and here we go. I'll do some work at work and show you the app in my lunch break. So, and I show you quickly how this app looks like. So what it does, basically, it gives you an overall score, which is 83 in my case now. It basically tracks your acceleration, your braking, your phone distraction, your speeding, and your cornering, and then creates this overall score out of it. And if you click on the trips down here, you can see your history of the last 2 weeks of your trip. So, and then it gives you a scoring for each trip. So this one, for example, here, you can see I just was a quick trip to Aldi, and you can see here I got 5 stars for every single, yeah, I got 5 stars for every single rating what they take into account. So, and if we have a look at another trip like this one, for example, I have only 4 stars in speeding. And then you can zoom in to the whole map, and it tells you exactly at this red area over there where I was speeding. And there may be some others. Yeah, there's a yellow one. So yellow means you are only 5 kilometers over or something, and red means 10 to 15 kilometers, I think, over the speed limit. Yeah, so, and what you do in these cases when their data is not correct, so they are claiming, for example, see this road again, I did 15 kilometers of speeding because this is a 60 kilometer zone, and I probably did about 55 coming from this road and then turning into Crescent Street. I do usually 55 due to traffic over there, 55, not even 60. And it has flagged actually cornering as well, which I'll show you in a minute. So speeding, acceleration and cornering gives me a total score of 4 for this trip. And yep, there was a little bit of speeding there. There's a 60 kilometer sign, and you let the car roll. Coming to the highway, coming to this roundabout, and yeah, let the car slow down, and it claims I was 15 kilometers over. Well, maybe I was, I don't know. And then further over here, it claims I did cornering on a straight road. Not possible. So clearly a fault in the measurement of what I actually did. And then here at home it says acceleration. This is on my property already, so I'm clearly not accelerating that hard on my property, because there's loose gravel and I have this shit in my lawn all the time then. So this is a clearly false information or claim they are making. And in this case they advise just to click on driver. And here are several possibilities. You can say I was a passenger, I was on a bus, I was on a train, I was on a bike, other kind of transport. So because whenever you have your phone with you, it will track your journey, your speed, your cornering and ever. And sometimes you are not the driver, but you can tell the app, look, that wasn't me, I was just a passenger. And that's what I do with this one, because this is a false claim what they did, and they have advised to do that in these cases. Obviously if you do this too often, passenger, they eventually have not enough data for you to give you an overall score, and they contact you and say, look, what's going on, can you please activate your phone more often or drive more carefully or something. But clearly their map data is not 100% up to date for all circumstances, and they are totally happy to accept your email and say, look, if this was the case, just click on driver and say you were a passenger, and it doesn't account towards your overall score. As long as you stay in the green area, I think they don't deduct any money from you, or they don't charge you more for your driving style. I've never had this in the 5 months, so I always paid the minimum rate only. And especially in the city here, you have these occasions where you actually brake or accelerate. I personally find braking not a bad thing. It is better to brake for a red light or for a yellow light than actually accelerate and go over. But they punish you for braking, which I think is not correct. And it was here again, braking. They give you the maximum force, the speed you did, and the speed delta the app recognized. So overall not 100% correct, but as I said, they don't really mind if you say you weren't the driver or something. And to be honest, you also can turn off the app, of course, so it doesn't track your driving at all. But then if you do this too often, they will contact you because they don't have enough data to actually rank you and bill you correctly. So yes, and I thought this is a very controversial stuff, because you are giving them private information. You tell them where you are, you give them all the information about your travel behavior, so the location, where you are, how fast you drive, at what time you were there, all this personal private information. And some people don't like this at all. I personally don't mind, because, well, every mobile phone does this anyway. I frequently get emails from Google with a monthly summary or something and saying, look, this was your trip history, and it tells me exactly at which location the phone was. So they've got my personal details anyway, and I have got nothing to hide, so I don't really mind. And if it saves me, well, it saves me almost $700 a year on insurance, I'm happy to do this. And I'm usually staying above 90% with this app. I'm driving carefully. I try to observe the speed limits and stay within the speed limits. Sometimes it's not possible due to traffic. Sometimes you have to brake hard not to run over someone, and they punish you for it, and you go a little bit lower, but I don't really care about this. You can always have a discussion with them, and they are happy to waive this claim then. So overall, it's, I think, a pretty good thing. And I was concerned about all this as well at the beginning, but now after 5 months, I think it's okay. It doesn't really bother me. anymore if they know where I were and how I drive. And if I do my test rides and accelerate hard, I get scores like 2 or 3 dots only. That's just how it is then. I live with it. It goes away after 2 weeks, and next month I've never paid anything in excess. I never paid anything more than they actually offered. And if you listen to the, again, earnings call Q4, Tesla earnings call Q4 last year, Elon said something about the Tesla insurance. Listen to this one here.
Insurance is going to be, I think, quite a major product of Tesla over time. The amount of money that people spend on car insurance is like a remarkably big percentage of the cost of a car. Like you can lease a Model 3 right now for $400 a month, but a typical owner in California will be paying, somewhere between $100 and $200 a month in insurance. So we're talking about something which is maybe a quarter to half of the cost of the lease of the car is insurance. And a lot of that insurance cost is just because the insurance companies don't have good information about the drivers, and that there's no good way to provide feedback where, it's a very poor feedback mechanism in terms of the insurance rates versus the actual way that the car is being driven, whereas we can do that in real time. It's a fundamental information advantage that insurance companies don't have.
So as you can see, Tesla does exactly the same. They track how you drive. And Elon just said it. They've got all the data, and other companies are keen to get this data. And this is exactly why your insurance is so high, because they don't know how you drive. So the only thing they can do an assessment of all the claims they get over the year and say to recoup this money, so we need to set the insurance for these cars like whatever amount. And if they would knew how you drive, they could potentially give you a more individual offer on this insurance. From what I read, a lot of car companies, car insurances are looking into these things of tracking your driving style, either with an OBD dongle plugged into your OBD port in your car. Well, I don't have one. Or with an app on your phone. And they get some good feedback how to classify you as an individual driver. So you can either be punished because you are a sporty driver, or they can reward you because you are careful, you are a conservative driver. And I think over time, this is what insurances will do. They will give you an app or a dongle to plug in and say, look, we can insure you for $3,000 a year, or you get this app or this dongle to put in your car, and it will be significantly lower because we can identify how you actually drive in real world conditions. So I reckon this will come in the next couple of years, and more insurances will go this path. Yeah, well guys, very controversial stuff. I think many people will not do this, of course, because they just pay more and don't get tracked or whatever. I'm happy to save my $700-800 a year and have this app running. No big deal for me. So I am very keen now to hear from you. Would you do this to save more than half of your insurance sum over the year? Or would you say, no, I am not interested in this. This is a privacy concern situation. I'm not giving them all these details. I will stay with what I have. And if they charge me more, I'm happy to pay this additional price just to be out of this situation, to be tracked. So let me know down in the comments below, how do you think this all works? Would you do it or not? Let me know. Okay guys, thank you so much. I don't think anything will happen tonight. I'll plug in the car again when I come home, and we charge up for tomorrow, Friday. And tomorrow I have to talk to you about the weekend, because I cannot charge to 60% anymore. Yeah, but see you tomorrow. Yeah, well guys, and as always, if you like these kind of videos, sign up to patreon.com/unpluggedtv. There's a growing community over there. Watch behind the scene videos, Patreon only videos, live streams, Hangouts, WhatsApp group, and more. Yes, there's more. Thank you very much if you have already, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.